The backyard was a burst of color, with streamers fluttering in the late afternoon breeze and a small table holding a modest cake that read, "Congrats, Lily." It was the kind of day that felt like a VY Tory, and for Lily Thompson it was. Born with cerebral palsy, she'd fought through countless obstacles to graduate high school, her wheelchair a constant companion, but never her definition. Her mom, Claire, had poured every spare dime into this party, stringing up balloons and setting out snacks for the handful of neighbors and friends who'd show up. Claire, a single mom juggling 2 jobs, didn't have much, but she'd make sure her daughter's moment shone. Lily watched her mom fuss over the decorations, her voice soft and slightly slurred but warm. "Mom, you don't have to go all out." Claire's eyes glistened as she knelt beside her daughter. "My brave girl, you deserve the world. This is nothing compared to what you've done." The yard looked like a slice of joy, humble but heartfelt. By 3 p.m., the first guest trickled in. Mrs. Lopez from next door brought a tray of her famous cookies, still warm. Old Mr. Jenkins from across the street handed Lily a small wrapped gift with a shy smile. Her teacher, Ms. Carter, showed up with a card signed by every kid in class, each note a reminder that Lily wasn't as alone as she sometimes felt. For once, she didn't feel like the girl who didn't fit. She felt seen, loved, special. Then, at 4 p.m., a voice sliced through the laughter like a knife. "What saw this mess?" Everyone turned. There, at the gate, stood Brenda Harris, the neighborhood association president, her blonde hair perfect, her face twisted in disgust. Claire frowned, stepping forward. "Can I help you?" Brenda's eyes swept the yard, landing on the balloons, the folding chairs, Lily in her wheelchair. "This circus," she sneered. "Do you have a permit for this?" "This is a residential area, not a carnival." Claire kept her voice steady. "It's just a small party for my daughter's graduation." Brenda's gaze locked on Lily, and something ugly flickered across her face. "Oh, I see. Well, your saw situation doesn't give you the right to ruin the neighborhood." The word situation hit Lily like a punch. She knew that look, that tone the kind people used when they saw her as less than human. Ms. Carter stepped up, her voice firm. "We're celebrating Lily's graduation. She's worked harder than anyone to get here." Brenda didn't blink. "I don't care what she's done. Look at this cheap decorations, cars clogging the street. This is dragging down our property values." Lily's throat tightened, tears burning her eyes. Her perfect day was crumbling. Brenda pulled out her phone, her voice cold. "Shut this down now, or I'm calling the police about your illegal gathering." Claire's hands shook, but she tried to reason. "Brenda, please. It's my daughter's graduation. We'll keep it quiet, I swear." Brenda's eyes flicked back to Lily, her lip curling. "Your daughter? Honestly, why even bother celebrating? What's she going to do? Sit around collecting disability checks? A waste of taxpayer money." The backyard went silent, as if the world itself held its breath. Lily's hands gripped her wheelchair, her heart shattering. In one cruel moment, Brenda had erased every struggle, every triumph, reducing her to nothing. "How dare saw you?" Claire whispered, her voice trembling with fury. Brenda didn't flinch. "I dare because I'm sick of pretending. Havying people like saw in our neighborhood isn't something to celebrate. Do you know what this does to property values? A disabled girl? It's not a selling point." Mrs. Lopez gasped. Mr. Jenkins shook his head, stunned. Ms. Carter looked ready to lunge. But Lily just sat there, shrinking under the weight of Brenda's words. "You have 1 hour to clean this up," Brenda snapped, turning to leave. "And next time you want a pity party, do it somewhere else. Some of us have standards." The party died after that. Guests left early, their hugs and apologies soft, but useless against the wound Brenda had left. Soon, it was just Lily and Claire, surrounded by decorations that now felt like a cruel joke. That night, Lily cried herself to sleep, her mom's arms around her no match for the pain. "Maybe she's right," Lily whispered. "Maybe I saw burden." Claire's voice was fierce. "Don't you ever say that. You're the strongest person I know. Brenda Harris is just a bitter woman who's never done half of what you have." But the damage was done. 3 days later, Claire was wiping down tables at her diner job when her phone rang. Is this Claire Thompson, Lily's mom? The voice was calm, professional. Yes, who's this? This is Mayor Daniel Lee. I received a letter from your daughter. Claire's heart pounded. Had Brenda followed through on her threats? A letter, she asked. Yes, from Lily, the mayor said. She wrote about accessibility issues in our community, about facing discrimination. It was powerful. Claire closed her eyes, pride mixing with disbelief. Her daughter had turned her pain into action. Mayor Lee's voice grew serious. I've looked into things since getting Lily's letter. It seems Brenda Harris has been filing complaints against families with kids, elderly folks, anyone she doesn't like. I'd like to meet you and Lily. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. The next day, Claire pushed Lily's wheelchair into City Hall, nerves buzzing. Mayor Lee, a warm man in his 40s, greeted them with a smile. Lily, your letter was incredible, he said. You took something painful and made it a call for change. That's real courage. Lily blushed, her voice quiet. I just didn't want other kids to feel like I did. Your letter's going to help a lot of people, the mayor said, pulling out a folder. I'm launching a program called Communities of Welcome to make our neighborhoods more inclusive for people with disabilities. Lily, I want you to be our first youth ambassador. You'd read VYEW policies, speak at events, help us make real change. Lily's eyes widened. Me? Help run a city program? Not run, Mayor Lee corrected. Lead. We need your voice. Claire squeezed her daughter's hand, tears welling. There's more, the mayor added. We're holding a community celebration in Memorial Park to launch the program. A real party permits, catering, the works. And Lily, consider it a do-over for your graduation party, but bigger. Lily's heart lifted, hope flickering for the first time since Brenda's attack. The week flew by in a whirlwind of planning, inter-VYUs, and community buzz. Local papers ran stories about Lily's letter. Donations poured in. By Saturday, Memorial Park was a VY sign food trucks, a stage, professional decorations, and hundreds of people, from families with wheelchairs to kids with SARE VYC dogs. It was a place where no one stared, no one whispered. Lily, in her best dress, sat on the stage, watching it all unfold. Mayor Lee took the microphone. Welcome to our first Communities of Welcome celebration. Today, we honor diversity and young people like Lily Thompson, who turn pain into purpose. The crowd roared, and Lily waved, her heart soaring. Then the mayor's tone shifted. But first, we need to address something serious. Some residents have been filing false complaints, harassing neighbors, creating a hostile NVY environment for people with disabilities. Claire noticed Brenda in the crowd, her face paling. Brenda Harris, please step forward. The park went quiet. Brenda hesitated, then walked to the stage, her confidence crumbling. The mayor held up a folder. Mrs. Harris, you filed 17 complaints this year against families, elderly residents, people with disabilities. Every single one was false. Brenda stammered, I was just maintaining standards. No, the mayor cut in, his voice like steel. You were bullying your neighbors. You targeted the most vulnerable among us. He opened the folder. These are statements from your neighbors about your harassment, your cruel words, your attempt to drive out anyone you didn't like. Brenda's composure cracked, her face red. Effective immediately, the mayor continued. You're banned from filing complaints without verified cause. You'll perform 200 hours of community SARE VYC with our Disability SARE VYCES department. And your role as Neighborhood Association President is terminated. The crowd murmured, some clapping softly. Most importantly, the mayor said, turning to Lily, you owe someone an apology. Brenda looked up at Lily, the girl she'd called a waste, now a city ambassador surrounded by supporters. Her voice broke. I'm sorry, Lily. I was wrong. What I said was cruel. Lily took the microphone, her voice steady despite her nerves. I accept your apology, Brenda. I hope you learn from this. Everyone deserves kindness. The crowd erupted, and Brenda slunk away, her reign of cruelty over. The celebration stretched into the evening. Lily's speech about inclusion left people in tears. Businesses pledged support for accessibility. Kids played adaptive games, their laughter filling the air. As the sun set, Claire hugged her daughter. "How do you feel, sweetheart?" Lily smiled, watching a boy in a wheelchair race a running girl, both grinning. "Proud, Mom. Not just of me, but of everyone here. Brenda tried to make me feel like I didn't belong, but look, I belong everywhere." 3 months later, Lily's story had spread. She spoke at conferences, consulted on accessibility projects, and became a voice for disabled youth statewide. Brenda, meanwhile, worked her community SER-VYC in silence, learning from the people she'd once dismissed. The neighborhood association elected Mrs. Lopez as president, who started a kindness committee to help neighbors in need. Lily's first party had been cut short, but her new celebrations sparked a movement that changed lives. Sometimes, the cruelest moments ignite the most beautiful change. Lily learned her worth wasn't tied to those who couldn't see it, but to her strength in rising above. And Brenda learned that trying to dim someone's light only reveals the darkness in your own heart. What do you think? Did Brenda deserve her public shaming? Or was the mayor too harsh? Should Lily have forgiven her so easily, or held her accountable longer? How would you handle someone like Brenda in your community? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if Lily's story moved you, and subscribe for more stories of triumph over cruelty.